Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy Jordan Antonio Brown, and I'm giving you another daily dose of a jab. And today I'm going to talk about why I left Arsenal Football Club. So, I was 16 years old when I made the decision to leave Arsenal Football Club for West Ham United. I also had other offers from teams like Norwich. I didn't really think Norwich would have been the best fit for me at the time, just for the simple reason why it was quite far in respects to where I grew up, where I'm from. It was probably a bit too early for me to leave home. I left home to go to West Ham and I actually moved out of my parents' house. However, it was still feasible for me to go back and to visit my family and be around my friends. So 16 would be a lot, and it would have been a big transition to go that far. However, you never know. It could have worked out, but I made the decision to go to West Ham. I'm going to tell you why I did that. So, just taking you through my journey at Arsenal. I started at Arsenal at 8 years old. I got scouted around about 6, 7 years old, and I was in the pre-developmental stage where you train with a coach or train in development centers, and you're there until you go to a big trial, and they choose whether you are good enough to make it into the match day squad, or let's say in this respect, not a match day squad, a squad of 20 individuals who will be signed on as a player for the age group. So my time at Arsenal, how did it go? Well, I had a coach called Danny Buck, really good coach. He ended up going to Tottenham when I was under nines, about halfway through the season. And from there, I had a coach, not going to name him in this video, but the coach was quite interesting. Let's say it like that. Very interesting character, and he ended up having problems with a lot of players down the line, and also myself, which I'll get into in this video. So I started at under nine, going up the age groups. I probably got to around about 11, 12, and I felt a little drop off and a decline in my performance. And why was that? I was going through growth spurts, I was going through, puberty things. And it's just normal for a young kid at that age to go through such developmental things, going through your time as adolescence. And naturally, you're never going to always go like this. It's always going to be, ups and through their age groups up until 16. So I probably saw an uptake in my performance around about 12 years old when I went to secondary school. In America, you might call it high school. And that was around year seven, year eight. That's when I started really developing at a faster rate. And yeah, it was really good. I was getting sponsored by Nike. I was playing for England at the time. I was also playing a few age groups above. So at times I was playing 2 years ages. At times I was playing 2 years above my age, which was really good at that age. And I was kicking on. And where did it actually go wrong, or where did it see a decline in my relationship, let's say with the club, or my relationship with the coach? And I would say, I remember I was playing for the age group above and I was doing really well. So I was 14 and I was playing for the under 15s. And I was like the main player for the under 15s. The best players for the under 15s, they would also play up at age group and sometimes two age groups above. And they weren't really around. But whenever it came down to play the best teams, which in our case, the best teams was always against Chelsea, where, the Femina, got Charlie Colkett, Jeremy Boga, Casey Palmer came on. I think Tammy Abraham, Dominic Solanke was playing upper age group. So we were playing against a really good team. But that was my age group. The year above, I think, was players like Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I could put the team over here of who exactly was like around about that. But whenever we used to play them, I did remember that, we used to bring all our better under 15s at the time, who were a year older than me, used to bring them back to play that age group. And I felt hard done by because I got put on the bench where I was performing the best for that age, and I was pretty much carrying that team in terms of the forward line, the goals, the creative, the pitch, and I got put on the bench. That game we lost, and I made the silly decision to go on Facebook, which is a very big lesson to a lot of children out there, or a lot of kids or teenagers in football, that you should keep your emotions very much in check and you should never put stuff out there. Where I didn't really have a mentor in that way to kind of guide me. Put a message out on Facebook saying, my coach is rubbish. I don't know why he benched me. Long story short, the coach had a son who used to train with us, and I think I had him on Facebook. I'm not sure it was his fault or whoever's fault. It's obviously my fault because I put the Facebook tweet, whatever you want to call it, the message out there, and he ended up seeing that. He called me into his office in training and he said, "Oh, Jordan, I have some Nike boots that Nike sent you. Come into my office. I want to speak to you." Went into the office, shut the door behind him, which is a bit weird. I'm like 14. He's doing that with, a kid who's underage, and having a conversation without my parents there. And, it wasn't nothing to do with Nike boots. He was like, "Yeah, I seen the message you put on Facebook. What was that about?" Basically like bullying tactics or not. Told me to sorry. And then from there, the relationship was quite weird. I had comments behind my back saying, "Oh, don't hang around with Jordan. He's a bad egg. Jordan, he's in terms of attitude and blah, blah, blah," which from the case. And I think that relationship there lingered on. And he was a coach where he followed me. Remember, I said from under nines all the way up until under 16s. So from him moving up the age groups and following me, I did feel like he kind of had a chip on his shoulder and something against me. And that did prove later on down the line, which I'll get into another video, when we actually played them and for West Ham. And I ended up scoring 2 goals against the Arsenal under 21s as a 17-year-old. And yeah, I do remember the straw for me was a training session, and we were playing against, some of his, which does happen a lot in football. And he was putting all of them on one team thinking they're going to beat our team. And we completely wiped the floor with them. And then from there, he halfway through the game, he's changed the teams around and he started like cheating a bit. So got mad because they came back and they drew the like 4-4, I think it was. I went crazy. I started smashing the balls away, throwing stuff and blah. I said cheat, blah, blah, blah. And then from there, the relationship was just kind of, it wasn't mendable. So I said to my coach, it's kind of above me. Although, listen, I was one of for my age, I got offered the contract for my age I think, yeah, cool, I could have, and hope the first team really liked me. At the time it was Arsene Wenger, but I didn't really want to bank on that. And I said to myself, I don't really want to have my future in someone else's hands. So that was a big part of it. And also the other elephant in the room that you have to address is how many young strikers do make it out of Arsenal. I think in the last 10 years, the only one to actually break through and, have a little time at Arsenal from the academy has been Eddie Nketiah. And he actually got bought, or he got signed as a 16-year-old from Chelsea. So I think them things there, I was humming about it and I wasn't really sure whether I should sign them with Arsenal, but I made the decision to leave. Especially the fact that Arsenal, in the meeting I had with them, they said, "You're a very good player, and obviously here's your contract. We keep you. We want to offer you a professional contract, but you're not, the top still to prove that you need to do something to get into the first team." So for me, I said to myself, weighed up my options. What's best for me? I said it's probably best for a new start, and that's the decision really why I made that decision, and that's kind of the overall decision why I decided to leave Arsenal at 16. So yeah, that was the video why I left Arsenal at 16. Any more questions? Any more you heard in this video why you would want to leave Arsenal? Was it the best decision? Should I have, stayed, rode it? My story is different right now. Who knows? But, who knows? That's for another, and in a different universe, that might have happened. But yeah, if you enjoyed this today, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one, guys.